Hi guys, it's Chantel and welcome to another reading week. So, something semi-exciting in reading news. I finally finished Harry Potter this weekend. This is my very first time ever reading the series, and I started it 2 years ago, I think. I was going to read the first book and prep it for my daughter, and then I think I read the first book, we listened to the second book together, and then since like October, November, I've been reading through the rest of the series. So, book 7. I shared a little bit of my thoughts last week about the first bit, and then I think I had about 200 pages left, which I read this weekend. Surprisingly, I found some time to read a little bit. Okay, so pretty much where I had stopped last time, things were kind of like not happening. It was kind of, I don't know, just kind of like mediocre. And then like right where I had stopped is kind of when everything goes down. And I can't really tell you anything because this is the final book in the series. But there was a lot of things that I really liked about the ending. A few things that I didn't enjoy so much. And I think in the future I would like to, well, my plan like a few books ago, and I would still like to do, is to make a video as to whether or not I think Christians should let their kids read Harry Potter. Because I know growing up, well, I was never interested in like fantasy anyway, so I was never, like it never even crossed my mind to read the book or the series. But I know a lot of Christians are kind of like a little bit worried about fantasy and will allow their kids to read some and not others, and Harry Potter is often one that is not allowed. And so I want to make a video on that. But with our current like life stage here with 2 foster babies, which you might be able to hear in the background, like I promise she's fine, but she makes a lot of noise. Yeah, so things are just, you know, we're kind of getting into a new groove here, and filming is not top priority for me. But eventually I would like to do that. So after I finished this, there was a couple days left in middle grade March, so I started Sweep. Like, I read 4 pages yesterday and then like maybe 10 pages today. And it's cute. It's, I don't know, it's just the beginning of a book. I never have a whole lot of thoughts and feelings at the beginning. But I just, like, I'm not in the mood for this. And I've heard so many good things about it that I might just put this off for a little bit. I need to film my April TBR, which I haven't done yet, and April starts tomorrow. So I don't know if I pick up a different book while I wait, or if I just like quickly film the TBR so I can like start reading those books. So I'm kind of in between that. One other book that I'm reading right now is an ebook, which is called The Imperfect Disciple, I think, by Jared C. Wilson. I'm reading it as an ebook when I'm trying to put the little baby to bed, and because it's easier to hold a phone than, you know, a book while you're trying to, you know, put babies to bed. And so far I'm really enjoying that book. It is a Christian nonfiction book about really being the imperfect disciple. And it's really good for me in the season. I do struggle with Christian nonfiction a little bit because I feel like I've kind of been burned in the past where I've really enjoyed one, like a book by a certain author, and then like a few years down the road, that author kind of like goes a little bit off the Christian path, I guess, for lack of better words. And yeah, so generally lately when it comes to like Christian reading, I just try to stick to the Bible. But this guy is, you know, like a really good author, seems to have like good beliefs that I agree with. So yeah, I'm really enjoying that book. I have no idea how far I'm into it. I think maybe like it said 15%. But yeah, so I'm gonna keep reading that when I'm, you know, stuck putting kids to bed. And I don't know what we'll do with this. It is a library book, but currently all our library books are, they're out until May 1st. Because of the virus and everything. They might extend that in the future if they can't open before then. So I know I have like an entire month to read this, and so I might just wait a bit, and we'll see what I put up next. Pick up next. Put up. Oh man, so much sleep deprivation going on here. I'm sorry for anything that I say that makes no sense. So I just want to close out this week's reading vlog, but for this part, if you hear like a constant creaking noise, the little one is jumping very happily in the Jolly Jumper here next to me, and she's pretty aggressive in it, so that's what that noise is going to be. So I'm kind of like debating whether or not I will continue with reading vlogs in general, or if I do them like every 2 weeks, or how I want to be doing this in like this season of life right now with a 6-month-old and an 18-month-old and then older kids, because like I haven't been reading as much, for one thing, and I feel like there's been hardly any time to film when like both kids are not crying or like not needing both parents, or you know, it just feels a little bit more chaotic these days, which I think is fair, but I'm just not sure how that's going to be affecting this. Today's actually Saturday, and I like to close this on Fridays, but I only could find like 2 days to film this week, and also didn't read very much, so I don't know. Just all that to say, I don't know exactly how this is going to proceed in the future, but we'll see. So what I have been reading is Romanov. I am just over halfway done, and I'm really enjoying it. I didn't read probably for like a day or two, and then yesterday I finally had some time to do some reading thanks to a Jolly Jumper and a baby carrier and an exerciser and like all the things, but I was actually able to read probably like 100 plus pages yesterday. Yeah, so I'm really liking this book. So it is based off of like the Romanov family from Russia, and it has fantastical elements, I guess. So they are exiled. Like I don't know like the true story about the Romanovs. I want to research it yet, but I also don't want it to like spoil any of the books, so I want to figure that out after I'm done. But they were like the royalty of Russia, and in the book they've been exiled because of they were like really close with this guy who was like a master at spells or something, and people have kind of risen up against the spell masters, and so obviously like that's probably not how it happened in real life, but yeah, it's really interesting. So we are mostly following Anastasia, who is I think like the second youngest kid, and she is the only one in her family that can kind of like perform very small spells, and yeah, so far it's really interesting. I'm very much enjoying it. I don't really even know where it's gonna go from here, which I always like. Yeah, so I'm going to be continuing with this for, you know, like the weekend or however long it takes. Just jumping away. Yeah, and then after that I will pick up one of the other books on my TBR that looks interesting to me. This one, it is like a historical fiction fantasy, and then I saw in the inside that the advance praise, one of the people that was praising the book is actually the author of Coral, which Holly picked out for me to read in April, so that is on my TBR as well. So I'm assuming they will kind of have like similar-ish vibes. Yeah, so that's what I've been reading. Been like a very slow reading week, the slowest one in a long time, I guess, and it's all for good reason. But I would prefer to read a little more. We'll see if that actually happens in the next while or not, and we'll see how filming continues. But yeah, I would love to hear what you've been reading, maybe suggestions on books that you think I would enjoy. No idea when I'll get to them these days, but yeah, always looking for good book recommendations.